Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the CS63 and how it compares to other mediums in its tier, and how I think the tank just needs a little bit of oomph. You know, I think it does need a little bit of oomph because there's not too much going for the tank, but the tank's not really bad. You can still do a good job in the tank. You can do damage. It's not like an OP tank. It's not a crazy tank. It really is just an average medium tank that actually probably falls short to some of the other mediums in tier 10. Now, again, there are a couple of things that really work well with the tank, that help the tank, and one of those, of course, is the tungsten shells. You know, you could do a little bit more damage with the tank when you use tungsten shells, but you can't just rely on tungsten shells for the tank to be an amazing tank. So your turret, yeah, it's very weak at 115, so is your hull at just 60. So yeah, armor is not there. DPM 3129. Again, we are running calibrated shells, but that still falls short to most of the other mediums in its tier. So it doesn't have the DPM that others have got. It doesn't have the armor others have got. So usually you have one of each. You know, you either have armor or you have DPM. This has neither. I'm not saying the DPM's not bad, but compared to the Russians and the Germans, the DPMs are really, really good. And there's some tanks out there that the DPM's not as good, but the turret is amazing, like the STB. Very, very good, where again, this doesn't really have any of those. You do have 268 penetration on your AP and just 305 on your APCR. So there's going to be tanks that you do struggle to penetrate. Your alpha, again, it doesn't really have the alpha either. It's generic alpha, really. 340, yeah, it has the little bit higher, but not as high as, again, some of the other tanks. 290 on your APCR. So most of the time you might be using that APCR and you're only doing 290, maybe even sometimes less. And 390 on your HE. So the HE is not even great either. Just 50 more than your normal AP. Aim time is good, however, at 2.9, and your gun dispersion is not bad at 0.317. You do have a nice 8 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 56 kilometers per hour. So yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad tank by any means. I think it does need maybe looking at. It does need some love maybe, and just that little bit of oomph. Because it's, you know, why would you want to play it? And that's how I look at tanks now. Unless I'm chasing the mastery badge or I'm grinding a tank or anything like that, but I usually look at the tank and think, right, I want to play tier 10 and I fancy playing a medium. Out of all the mediums in the game, is this a medium that you would choose? Like, if you was just playing for fun, is this a medium you would choose? No, it's probably one of the least favorable mediums I would choose. Honestly, there might be a couple. The 121B I would even probably choose over this, and even probably the 30B I would probably choose over this. So yeah, out of medium, when it comes to medium tanks, this would probably be the last choice. Let me know if you think the same. Again, some people might think I'm talking absolute shit, but I can only ever talk from my experience from a tank. I can't talk from anyone else's experience. I'm talking from my opinion only, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So I'll respect everyone's opinion if they think different, and likewise you should respect mine. And I'm just going by looking at all the other medium tanks and how fun this tank is compared to them. And yeah, it isn't fun. It can still do its job, and I'm not going to lie, any tank can do its job. Even the worst tank in the game can still do its job. It can still do a lot of damage out there, and those of you that have played it and done 6,000 or 7,000 damage in the tank doesn't mean that the tank is fantastic. It just means that you're good at playing it, or you get lucky. Of course, I like the gun depression. I think 8 degrees is needed, in my opinion. It is needed, especially as it doesn't really have a turret, so you want to put whatever armor you do have to good use. And again, as I've said, it's not that much. It's not that much armor at all. So this game, I mean, we haven't bounced anything. We've done 2,000 damage so far. There's 2 tanks left alive, and I want to find them. I know where the Death Star is. I don't want to go towards him because I am a one-shot, but where is that object 777? And as soon as he becomes spotted, there he is, and I want to head towards him because he's full hit points, and I can probably get a little bit of damage from him. So yeah, we do get the bounce, and to be fair, that is something I've noticed, whether it probably is me. That is something I do quite often, and I think the next game I do it quite often, where I shoot the track, it only bounces. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is, and I move on. So again, I do love the tungsten shells, and I do think the tungsten shells does make it that bit better, and again, I do think it is something the tank does need. You know, just to give it something, but it just needs a little bit more. You know, just a little bit more, not too much. I'm not asking for too much, but I do think that the tank needs a little bit more, and in its current state, yeah, it is one of the worst medium tanks in the game. And again, that is just my opinion, and anyone is entitled to their opinion. Of course, you can get the lucky bounce, which is what we are going to do right here from this T110 E4. Very lucky bounce. You know, don't rely on the armor at all. Don't look at that bounce and think, what are you talking, Meadsy? You're talking shit. The armor is really, really good. It really isn't. Again, you can go hold down, and you may get lucky with the odd bounce on the turret. If you make it difficult for them, struggle wiggling backwards and forwards, of course, don't make it easy. But overall, I do think it needs something else. I don't know what. Maybe a little bit more turret armor, maybe a little bit more DPM, drop the reload, or up the alpha. I think they should up the alpha, in my opinion. I mean, 299 there with AP. Come on, like, you want a little bit more than that. You want the tungsten shells to go to good use. I mean, 390 there with tungsten shells, which is nice, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I just think it needs something else. And here's the first shot you're going to see, and yeah, I didn't even go where I aimed. I don't even know why. But I'm lucky enough to get a reload. And it doesn't even go where I wanted it to go. I wanted it to go right on the corner, but yeah, it didn't. So just 4 tanks left alive now. Of course, this AMX 30B, no idea what he is doing, but I know what he's doing now, and that is going back to the garage. So 2 kills, 2,000 damage, 3 tanks left alive, 6 versus 3 should not be an absolute problem here. And now we can just chase the 60 TP. Again, nice alpha there, 383. So you can get the good alpha. Ignore that shot, but let's go for the ram instead. Why not? There's only 2 tanks left alive. Let's go for the ram for our 3rd kill, and just 2 tanks left alive, the E50M, and of course the Leopard 1. And the Leopard 1 is a little bit juicy, so let's go for him again. Let's go for the ram. I want to get as much damage as I possibly can, and of course I do end up getting the kill. So that is the CS63. As I've said, I do think it needs a little bit of oomph. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.